So this was simply a follow-up to where we ended the trial, a status conference to see where we were in the process of reviewing the state police major crime file, the affidavit process that the court had ordered us to go through, as well as sort of the individual conversation process that we went through with each of the investigators involved in this. So this was an opportunity for us to update the court and to discuss with the court next steps as we head towards what we presume will be a hearing on a defense motion to dismiss eventually.
Can you explain, you mentioned that you admitted that in that call initially with the defense, and you from when you were up there at Major Crimes, that there was a little bit of panic, but then once you looked at things, you realized that you really did have pretty much everything. Can you kind of explain what you meant by that? What you did have and what you maybe didn't have?
So in the wake of what occurred during the course of this trial, and even during the course of this trial, as we outlined to the court, there was a review that was undertaken by the New Hampshire State Police, by the command staff there, to ensure once it came to light that there were those 5 interviews that we had not been provided, to ensure that there was nothing else that we hadn't been provided. That was again led by the command staff, something that was led by troopers not involved in the investigation itself, not the lead investigator from the New Hampshire State Police. We're talking about almost 300 discs, digital media discs of discovery, over 10,000 pages of discovery. So cross-checking that sort of thing is a significant task. And in ensuring that we had been provided with everything, they had concerns that there was information that we had not been provided. In the early days of that, that certainly is a significant task, a significant process. So it took some time simply to get to the bottom of what we had already been provided, which was the vast majority of it if you review the pleading that we filed with respect to status, and honing down on the handful of discs and the pages that we had not been provided.
So what will happen next? It sounds like your office is going to be providing the defense with any information regarding the drug investigation that was taking place prior to the homicide and then after the homicide that maybe they didn't have before this.
So certainly, that's their request. We've always understood that to be their request, even in pretrial litigation. And so, again, we are happy to confirm and again go through whatever process the court asks of us to ensure that there is nothing that has not yet been provided with respect to a state-level drug investigation.
So reading through that pleading, I saw that there are a few jailhouse call recordings. Can you give us a sense of how many additional pieces of evidence were found that during the review over the last week or so that wasn't provided?
So all of the information is outlined in that pleading. Again, it's a handful of discs, the pages that are outlined in those pleadings. I can speak to one specifically if you have specific questions in terms of what's outlined in our pleading.
Reading through the pleading that I'm not misinterpreting any lines. I mean, how many? I know they referenced Dean Smorank's jailhouse call.
Yeah, the phone call.
Just curious how many total calls there are and whether there are any other.
I can't answer how many total calls there are, but certainly I can. If that's the question, I can't answer how many total calls there are. I can go through, again, reports that are provided, reports that synopsize recorded interviews, reports that are notes of investigative reports that were provided. I mean, I'm happy to go through these if there are other specific questions. I can't speak to how many jail calls there were.
Where is Smorank now?
I don't know.
Do you feel comfortable that you do have everything now? And what do you think happened? So where was the breakdown in this?
So certainly, we've gone through that process and we've made the representations to the court we have with respect to that review process and provided additional materials that we hadn't been provided. I can't speak to specifically where the issues occurred that resulted in this information not being provided.
When you say you don't know where Smorank is he being held in a jail here in New Hampshire?
Again, he's got a pending federal case, right. And so that's what I know. I know he's being held as part of that pending federal case.
Okay.
But that's not it's not my case and it's not a state level case. And
No, I
so
understand.
that's not,
I just
that's
wanna
why
ma-
I'm not privy to that information.
I
So
just
sorry,
want to
maybe
make
that
sure
was.
our readers don't.
Nope,
Don't want to think. I
No.
want our readers to be clear about.
I
if he's being
apologize.
held
That
or
was
not
probably
held.
a little glib, but
Okay, thank
I
you.
understand he's being
Yes.
held federally.
Do you feel confident now, knowing that what you have is pretty much everything that's out there, that this will head to retrial?
So certainly, in terms of the law with respect to mistrial and retrial, the law favors retrial, but we'll have that conversation with the court at the appropriate time.
Great.
So at this